Kansas City's Kauffman Stadium, the Houston Astros continue their three-game series with the Royals. The Stros look to extend their winning streak to 6 games as Scott Feldman opposes lefty Matt Duffy. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you. Nice win for the Astros last night, and part of that win, more offense for the ball club. In particular, Preston Tucker had a big night.
Yeah, he's really stepping up in the outfield, getting more playing time, but 4 home runs in the last 4 games. It's good to see him contributing.
The Astros have played really well against these Kansas City Royals, a very good ball club. Over the last 7 meetings, the Astros have dominated.
Well, good teams beat up on those teams that are below 500, but the Astros are stepping it up against a great team, the defending American League champions in the Kansas City Royals. Some fantastic numbers right there. But for me, that one in the lower right, the starters ERA, very low for the Houston Astros. But knowing how good that Kansas City Royal bullpen is, the Astros are attacking those starters, putting runs up early, and taking that bullpen out of the mix, and that's what's led to that 7-0 record against Kansas City.
We look to our AT&T Rewind and look back at last night with Scott Kazmir, who was just exactly what you would want now this time of the year.
Hard to believe he stepped into a situation like this after a pretty big trade and stepped up for the challenge. Did a great job last night. Miserably hot, but he did a great job with that changeup fastball combination.
You know, we alluded to the offense, which has really been good now since the All-Star break. Really nice to see these guys tuning it up.
Yeah, these guys are getting after some pitching. A lot of mistakes are being left out over the plate. These guys are doing it. Some balls were hit hard, some weren't. The drop shots were falling, but there were a lot of quality ABs, guys going the other way, and a couple of 2-out RBIs always helps out in offense, too.
Coming up, the Astros have shown no fear in butting heads with the reigning kings of the American League. Can Scott Feldman dethrone the Royals again and send the Astros to their 6th win in a row? It's a Kansas City barbecue with playoff flavor coming your way next. Sports is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Coming up, there's no denying Jake Marisnick's talent on the baseball field. But you might be surprised at just how important Jake has been to the Astros' fortunes this season. We'll talk about Jake and the rest of the streaking Astros when we return.
The Astros trying to take the second out of a 3-game series. They've won their 5th game straight consecutively, go for their 6th today, and they did it behind Scott Kazmir last night. He was getting some offense, helping him out last night, especially Preston Tucker at the plate having a great night. 3 for 5 was a triple short of the cycle once again, but he's been feeling good for a while now. Been swinging the bat great since the All-Star break ended, but even before that, in the entire month of July, check out his numbers. In 17 games, a .318 average, 5 home runs. He's actually hit those 5 homers in just 13 games, 4 of those coming in his last 4. So on fire. He told me his home runs come in bunches, and that's just when he's seeing the ball really well, which he's doing right now. You see the home runs in this video kind of going all over the park, too. He's spreading it around a little bit, so he's feeling good. He usually is batting second in this lineup, but tonight with the lefty, he's dropped down to 5th with Marwin Gonzalez in there. A.J. Hinch looking to get some production from Marwin at the top of the lineup. But Preston Tucker, he's been challenged by the lefties lately, but hoping to continue what he's been doing at the plate. Feeling really good, seeing the ball well, as I said. Ashen Blummer. It's really strange down here. Is it strange up there to you guys?
It was really impressive. I think we both thought up here watching and listening as the national anthem was sung by the fans, started on their own. And again, very impressive to see what's gone on. And yes, Julia, it's an odd night at the ballpark, and at least for some time, apparently we will not have any PA or anything like that going on. So I guess we're fortunate to be able to be on the air for the moment as we get ready to see the Astros and the Kansas City Royals. Pretty impressive, Blummer, that the Astros, who went into the All-Star break really struggling with the bats, have turned it around now, hitting over 300 since the break.
Yeah, I went down and talked to AJ last night before the game, and he was saying how it was pretty ugly there going into the All-Star break. Team was a little beat down, and he was extremely thankful for those 4 days off because it looked like the way they were going, they were going to lose 15 in a row, he said. But to get those 4 days off, those kids were burned out. They've been in first place the entire first half until that last day, playing great baseball, playing their hearts out. But they're young, but they need days off. They had those 4 days off, regrouped. Now they've got their legs back under them, make a strong push in the second half. I think it'll be fun to watch.
As we sit here in the silence at the ballpark, at least in terms of the PA, as the Royals just now are getting set to take the field, there's been a no-hitter in Major League Baseball today. Cole Hamels, who's had his name mentioned quite a bit in terms of possible trades, comes up with a no-hitter against the Chicago Cubs, and it ends rather routinely.
That was unbelievable how that game ended. Are you kidding me with that guy losing his feet right there and still making that play? But how about Ruben Amaro Jr. right now? Do you think he made a couple phone calls and say, hey, guys, we're going to have to renegotiate or restructure any trades you guys want. We're going to have to add maybe a prospect or two, maybe throw in a couple $1,000 or $1 million into that package. We'll see. But good stuff. How about the Cubs? The last time they got no hit was 50 years ago. 7,920 games by Sandy Koufax.
Sandy threw that many games in his career?
No, that long ago. No, we know that didn't last. Yeah. Sandy's career was cut way short.
Way too short, that is for certain. So tonight's Astros starting lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. As the Royals warm it up, it'll be Jose Altuve in the top spot, followed by Marwin Gonzalez and Carlos Correa. Middle three in the order: Evan Gattis, Preston Tucker in left field, and Chris Carter. And the bottom three: Colby Rasmus, Hank Conger behind the plate. Jake Marisnick stays in center.
For the Kansas City Royals, Danny Duffy on the mound, left-hander. Had a start earlier in the season back at Houston. Took the loss, going 6 2/3, giving up 6 hits, 4 earned runs in that game. But how about his numbers against left-handed hitters? Last year did a great job, held them to right around 100, but he was allowing them to hit .322 against him, holding right-handers down. You see the record, only 7 innings pitched. Spent a little bit of time on the DL. Fastball, slider, changeup combination, averages about 93.5 miles an hour on that heater.
26 years of age. And you go back just 3 or 4 years ago, he was one of those guys that would go 95 on up to 97 plus. So maybe shedding a few miles an hour, trying to stay healthy now. Jose Altuve will get it started for the Astros. He's hit in 8 straight as he comes in, and a huge part of what the Astros do. The Astros are tied for the best record in the American League West, as the first pitch from Duffy is in for a strike. Angels lead by a percentage point, or a couple of percentage points in the West. They are 54 and 42. The Astros 55 and 43. Kansas City continues to lead in the American League Central, and they've got a pretty good sized lead, 5.5 games over second place Minnesota. Kansas City with the best record in the American League, despite losing their last 2 games. Altuve has a 1-2 count.
Nice play in the carom by Jerry. Good stop.
Jerry down the left field side tonight,
making an appearance.
Danny Duffy recently has changed his delivery, coming up over his head rather, with his windup. That's since his return from the DL. Brings the high heat. It's 2-2. 87 degrees, quite a bit cooler than last night. Threat of rain. In fact, we thought there was going to be quite a rainstorm coming in right about game time, and it apparently missed us just to the south. Curveball stays high. It's 3-2 as Altuve leads it off.
Might have been a strike to an average human.
This is no average human right here. The Los Astros have a pretty good leadoff man.
One home run away for Altuve, getting to number 10. He's going for pop this year.
It's one in the air, center field routine, as Dyson makes the catch. We've got one out tonight.
Take a walk around Kauffman Field. We saw Gerard Dyson out there in center field. Ned Yost giving Kane the day off. Paulo Orlando next to him. Alex Rios in right field. Mike Moustakas and Alcides Escobar on the left side. Omar Infante and Eric Hosmer on the right. And Salvador Perez back behind home plate for the Kansas City Royals.
Brings up Marwin Gonzalez. And no surprise to see Marwin now when he gets his starts, and there have been plenty of them, moving up in the batting order, batting second tonight. And swinging it very well from both sides of the plate, but this right side of the plate has been extremely impressive, I think, to the eye, Blummer. I think both of us have loved the swings we've seen.
Well, both of us being switch hitters and understanding how hard it is to hit from both sides of the plate throughout the course of the season, really appreciate what he's been doing recently from both sides of the plate. Swinging the bat great. We get a chance to look at some of those hot zones, and there are a lot of hot zones for that right-handed bat right now. Hitting 400. But I like the fact that all those hot zones on that right-handed side are actually in the zone. Good discipline, but I think he's got a little bit more pop from that right side.
Takes a very close pitch at 95 miles an hour for a ball. Harwin did not play in last night's game. Played all 3 of the games against the Red Sox recently. Went 2 for 3 in that final game with a double and a home run. A couple of ribbies and drew a walk. Curveball evens the count. Really is just part of what Marwin has been doing. And we're not talking about just the offensive side of the game. The defensive side has been strong as well, wherever he has played. It's the breaking ball in the air to center field. Gerard Dyson is there. And 2 outs.
It's a lot of sliders early on from Danny Duffy to these Houston Astros.
The Astros offensively start the night 12th in the league at .243 in terms of batting average. But they continue to lead in home runs, 136 of them. They lead in stolen bases with 74. And they've got this guy, Carlos Correa, 9-game hitting streak. Coming out a little bit more aggressive here this evening.
Or if he was watching the at-bats ahead of him, seeing all those sliders being thrown, maybe decided to be a little bit aggressive on that fastball early if it's in the zone.
Perez might have gotten rung up just a bit on that foul ball. Umpires tonight behind the plate. It is Trip Gibson, Chris Guccione at first base, the crew chief Mark Carlson at second. Down at third, it's Ryan Blakeney. When you're talking straight up runs scored, and the Astros have played more games than some of the other teams, but the Astros are second best in the American League in runs scored. Two and one.
$13 doubles for Carlos, 8 home runs.
Got that batting average at .293. And he gets mentioned a lot with Jeff Blum. Great starts in the major leagues.
Let's hope he finishes a little bit stronger than I did.
Yeah, let's hope he has a chance to win a World Series and do a lot of the things you did.
I think he's got a potential to do a lot of great things in that Astro uniform.
During that 9-game hitting streak, he's 11 for 29. Yeah, that's been very impressive to hear about your name being talked about when Carlos Correa is being talked about. And it starts to remind about how good you were when you came to the big leagues. And, of course, you had a long and very productive career.
I appreciate you saying that.
Another fly ball. A little deeper into right center field. Rios is calling. Right at the edge of the track makes the catch. 3 fly balls, 3 outs in the first inning. Scoreless after a half. ballpark, and we've apparently avoided the rain. That's a good thing for the Kansas City Royals, that starting lineup. Alcides Escobar in the top spot, followed by third baseman Mike Moustakas. Kendrys Morales moves to the 3 spot as the DH. Middle 3, Eric Hosmer at first, doing the catching Salvador Perez, and in right field Alex Perez. In the bottom 3, second baseman Omar Infante, Paulo Orlando's in left field, and Gerard Dyson is in center.
On the mound for Houston, Scott Feldman, big right-hander, making his second start since coming back from the DL. Be his 12th start on the season. You see the numbers there, just under a 5 ERA. Last time out against Texas, he took the loss, going 5 2/3, giving up 4 earned runs through 92 pitches in that outing. He's one of the league leaders in curveballs thrown per outing. We'd like to locate that fastball and cutter, enable him to get to that breaking ball to put guys away.
And he locates the first fastball right on the outside edge as he gets ahead. Lifetime against Kansas City for Scott Feldman, 5-3 in 10 starts, 17 games overall. Line shot is foul. Talked about that last start for Scott Feldman, 9 hits allowed in 5 2/3 innings. I'm sure he would love to cut that down. Check swing is foul. 0-2 the count. Alcides Escobar, one of the numerous all-stars for the Kansas City Royals this year. Had a very good first half, hitting .287 currently. And down on strikes, goes after the high one at 92 from Feldman.
Defense behind Scott Feldman is going to be Preston Tucker out there in left field. Jake Marisnick, of course, in center field. Colby Rasmussen right on the left side. Marlon Gonzalez out there at third base. Carlos Correa at short. Jose Altuve at second base. Chris Carter back out there against the left-hander at first base. And Hank Conger doing the catching for Scott Feldman. If anything, it was a good sign to see Scott Feldman, the first at bat, throw a heater up in the zone about 92 miles an hour.
Moustakas having quite a turnaround year for KC. .296 batting average, 10 homers, 39 RBIs. A year ago, he was sent back to the minor leagues to figure things out. And apparently something was figured out along the way. Last year he wound up hitting just .212. Did eventually in 140 games hit 15 home runs. But his numbers considerably better this year. Shift on Moustakas. And he hits a ground ball just foul on that left side.
Man, that would have been a beauty right there.
I feel like when you, for example, are facing a left-hand hitter and you pitch him away with the shift on, you're asking for problems.
Almost looked like an afterthought. He's like, oh, I'll give it a shot, and just kind of threw the barrel out there. But that's one of the things Ned Yost had applauded about Moustakas and why his numbers are getting better, because he is going the other way.
It's went sharply on a hop through the right side. And has the game's first hit. He'll hold it to a single. Nice play in right field by Colby Rasmus.
Take a look at our strike zone, brought to you by MD Anderson. Breaking ball. See a lot of hitters in 2-strike counts try and take that fastball the other way and then turn on that off speed. But did a good job of throwing the barrel out there, getting around that one and sneaking it through the shift.
99th hit on the season for Moustakas. He's aboard with 1 out as Kendrys Morales comes to the plate. Morales hitting .277. His strength this year has been driving in runs. You see the 65 of them. In the American League, 66 ribbies lead it. Jose Bautista and Josh Donaldson, each from the Toronto Blue Jays with 66. Mark Teixeira and Kendrys Morales at 65. Two and one the count. Morales a switch hitter. Last night went 0 for 4, primarily right-handed. Ground ball on the right side. Can they get to Correa with that back half of it? And they get the double play. 4-6-3. And that'll do it for the Royals. They get a base hit and leave nobody. Scoreless after one.
With Coca-Cola Double Play Tuesdays, receive 2 View Deck 2 tickets for only $22 or 2 Outfield Deck 2 tickets for only $5. For the Angels game Tuesday, July 28, tickets can be purchased at the Minute Maid Park box office. As for the Astros, they dropped 6 straight just before the break, but since then, winning 5 straight, going for 6 tonight. A.J. Hinch saying before today's game, love our defense. He loves that they're throwing strikes and, of course, homering, playing complete games right now. He said, we're doing things now how we did early in the season when we got really hot. And, of course, the big boost with Scott Kazmir coming in and doing what he did last night, pitching a gem. It's not easy to put all these things together, but if we keep limiting our outs, we're in good shape. He also likes the zone discipline from his guys so far.
Thanks, Julia. And what a night it was for Scott Kazmir. The offense was strong early, got the early lead, and Kazmir just made it look semi-easy as he breezed through. Evan Gattis leads off the second inning. Gattis hitting .249, 16 dingers, 57 RBIs.
What I think is great what Julia said is about that defense. It kind of allows your pitchers to get comfortable and not worry about throwing strikes when you know the guys behind you are going to make some great plays, pick you up like Jake Marisnick did last night for Scott Kazmir in the gap.
Look, you and I were talking about it before the ball game, and George Springer is one of the best defensive players in all of Major League Baseball. Will he get back? Everybody certainly hopes so. But Jake Marisnick, frankly, has had his issues with the bat recently, but he was out there in center field, and I think it makes the night so much better for a pitcher when he can count on a guy like that.
And that's one thing Scott Kazmir is not used to seeing, coming over from Oakland where a lot of errors were being made behind him.
Evan Gattis tied for first in the American League in RBIs with 56. That's since April 26th. So after that miserable start, he has produced runs at a very high rate. It's Gattis, Tucker, and Carter here in the second. Fly ball right center field. Rios on the move, and 1 out. Astros turned that double play last half inning on Morales. Let's take a peek.
Morales hit one to end the game last night. Good turn. Just a little bit offline. Chris Carter and that big body of his extending to make that play.
I guess when the Royals were initially possibly, as we broke away, they started to ask whether there might be a review on the play. They opted not to, but I think the question might have been about Carter and did he stay on the bag. Preston Tucker at the plate. Tucker hitting .267, had a big night last night. 3 hits, 1 of those a home run. His 9th already. Talk about a youngster coming up without any kind of fanfare and having a great start to his career.
Well, he had great AAA numbers leading into him getting called up. How about the improvement on defense? That's going to help out a pitching staff, make their numbers look extremely good. But it seems like the Astros are adhering to that pitching, defense, and timely hitting theory for possibly going out there and winning an AL West division.
Pretty good theory. 2009, the last time the Astros were a top 5 defensive team. You know, in the spring, you talk about all managers do it. We're going to run. We're going to be aggressive this year. We're going to play solid defense, help out our pitching. Well, the Astros have played that solid defense this year. They've run. They've done all those things, including hit with power. Chopper goes to first base. Easy for Hosmer. 2 down here in the second. Brings up Chris Carter. That defense is not the sexy side of the game unless you're a pitcher and you just love what you see back there. For Carter, the batting average at 186. Does have 16 dingers and is driven in 43.
Hitting 111 in the month of July.
What do you figure? Last year he had from July on really turned it on, and this year, yeah, just not finding it.
Oh, if they had the Chris Carter from last year in the middle of this lineup, I mean, I guess they're still counting on him driving the ball out of the ballpark, or else he wouldn't be in there. But if he could find a little bit of a spark of what he had last year, that would be a huge boost to this Astros offense.
The Astros with 5 players with 13 or more home runs. Right off the end of the bat, and a 1-hopper to third. Moustakas with the play. And the move calls here in Kansas City, a 1-2-3 second. Scoreless after 1.5.
last night. He really handled us with fastballs and changeups. His fastball was 93 to 95 miles an hour, and his changeup was 74 to 80 miles an hour. He moved the ball around. You've just got to hope he makes a mistake and you don't miss it. But he didn't make a mistake. That is the truth. We saw it last night. We talked about how good his changeup was coming into that game, but it was extremely effective last night.
Yeah, there were no surprises. We talked about it. I'm sure the Royals talked about it. Fastball, changeup, that's really the program. And if you spot it well, still tough on the hitters. Eric Hosmer leading off the Royals here in the second. He's hit in 7 straight. And had a very nice year. .304 the batting average. Next RBI will be number 50 for Hosmer. Had a nice year hitting .270 last year. But along with Moustakas and others with KC, just off to a much better start with the bat. Hosmer last night was 1 for 3. Also drew a walk. In his current 7-game hitting streak, he has put together 5 games with multiple hits, 2 of those with 3 hits. So he's been swinging it very well. Good running fastball finds the inside corner. Second strikeout picked up by Scott Feldman. First out here in the second. And we check in with Julia.
Hey guys, you're talking about Casimir just now and what Ned Yost has to say about his changeup. Yeah, his changeup was good. He was also using the middle of the field. We saw Jake Marisnick a lot last night. He said that was part of the game plan. It was very geared towards this particular lineup. He knows these hitters pretty well, and he wanted to change things up since the last time he faced him. It obviously worked. But after talking to him today, he feels very good. Said he could not sleep after getting traded and then, of course, traveling. But last night, after getting that one under his belt as an Astro, the first one out of the way, slept just fine.
Thanks, Julia. Drive to left center field. Tucker is calling and drops it. And just jogging it out with Salvador Perez, so he'll wind up at first base. It'll be an E7, but that is very poor base running.
Are you kidding me? We're just talking about the defense, and then we see that?
Guess who's going to get blamed?
Well, of course, the obvious choice is us, but it might be Rawlings. But yeah, that's just a clank right there. Tucker assuming he has it, but I'm with you as far as Salvador Perez. They showed it on the big screen. You can't take anything for granted in the big leagues right now. You've got to hustle. Now it's disappointing to watch it because Salvador Perez is such a great guy, plays the game well. But everybody's going to have their momentary lapses. We see it in the base running with Perez, and then you just saw it in the outfield with Tucker just taking his eye off the ball at the last second.
Perez aboard at first for Alex Rios. Rios hitting .262, just a couple of home runs on his year. Ground ball to short, knocked down initially, but they'll get the double play. 6-4-3. Second one turned on the night by the Astros as Scott Feldman's got the ground balls working. Scoreless after 2. lead in the American League West as we look at our Toyota drive to the playoffs. Astros and Angels right at the top of things in the West. The Rangers 7.5 back. That wild card, I don't know. Do you watch that thing yet, or
no chance?
At what point do you start really zeroing in on that wild card?
If I'm the Texas Rangers, I'm looking at that wild card. But if I'm an Angel or an Astro, I am staring right at the top of the AL West and shooting for it. It's going to be a nice little grind to the end, I think, between both these ball clubs. Angels, see if they make any moves before that trade deadline. Rumor has it the Astros aren't done yet with some of the moves they've got out there. Jim Crane was talking about it. Hinted at the fact there's some possibilities still floating around, but I think it's going to be pretty exciting. It'd just be nice to see have a timetable on Jed Lowry getting back in this lineup. Be even better to hear that George Springer's progressing and would actually have a chance to make it back before the end of the season.
Colby Rasmus leads off here in the third inning. You know what? I might have to agree with one of the tweets coming my way. Susan Pittman says defense can be sexy, and loves to see the defense of Jake Marisnick laying out and making those plays, and I'm going to concede on that one. That is absolutely true, and we all love seeing it.
You're on Twitter?
I've got somebody running it to me here.
Somebody mailed it to you?
Got an email that said that somebody sent this 2 weeks ago. No, it's that thing in spring training. Nobody wants to hear about their club going to be a good defensive team. Are we going to hit home runs this year? Are we going to steal bags? Are we going to have great pitching and lead by 30 games at the end of the year? That's what everybody wants to hear. Two and two the count on Colby.
Oh, Chicks dug the long ball.
Well, that's all I meant by it. And by the way, that's going to be a commercial someday, I think.
It's a good catch line right there.
Colby Rasmus leading off the third, followed by Hank Conger and Jake Marisnick. Colby draws the leadoff walk. He's aboard for Conger. You know, we were talking about, do you look at wild card this time of year? If you're a player, does it matter much to you if you're tied for first today? Yesterday you were a game behind. Or is it really too early to get down to that kind of minutia?
I think it's when you're that close, it's a little too early to worry about that kind of stuff. You still got to do those cliche things like go game to game, play your game today, win each day. But, you know, once the middle of August hits, then you start looking at it because those games start falling off that calendar and you start counting down those days. It happens in a hurry and you don't want to lose control too quickly.
I'll tell you, I think if you've got like a 5, 6, 7 game lead, I think that's when you kind of feel like this thing's in our lap, guys. But when you're kind of juggling back and forth, a game out, a game ahead, that sort of thing, you just want to keep going out and playing your best every day. Conger with a 1-1 count. Hank hitting .229. Done a nice job with that power part of the game. 6 dingers on the year. The Astros have 16 players who have homered this year. That goes right down to Robbie Grossman and Jonathan Villar, who each had hit 1. Just inside.
Couldn't have been by much. He missed his spot by about 1.5 feet, but it looked like it may have caught in that inside corner.
Yeah, you see Perez setting up away.
Yeah. Sometimes that drastic movement of the glove will throw the umpire off. Give the benefit of the doubt to the hitter.
Not sure why it does. The umpire's got his nose right there on the inside corner. But you're right, it does. Again, that's Trip Gibson behind the plate tonight.
I thought the zone last night was real good.
Yeah, nice and consistent.
Edges were nice and tight, but he gave a little bit down and a little bit up. I think as a hitter, it's a little bit easier to defend that than trying to stretch the edges.
Hop back to the seats. I thought that Scott Kazmir worked the outside corner extremely well.
Really did.
Yeah, that's a nice guy to have in the fold. Never know when those youngsters you trade that you'd never heard about might turn out to be big-time major league players. But you take your shot when you've got a shot.
Well, going to the playoffs, period, is hard to do in the major leagues. So when you have an opportunity like this, and I don't think Astros front office was even prepared for them to be this good this early. So for them to go out and make that move, I think is a great thing, because they're trying to give these kids in that dugout a shot to go to the playoffs this season. You got to take advantage of the opportunities when they present themselves.
A lot of talent with youngsters on that lineup. Pop up on the right side. Infante, the second baseman, and out number 1.
Houston Methodist is going to help us get to know Jake Marisnick. Center fielder for the Houston Astros. Favorite movie, Sandlot. Best vacation, a family cruise to Australia. Good grief, where'd he leave from? It could be quite a while if you're leaving from California. Go-to karaoke song. This is something everybody needs to know. I believe in a thing called love. I thought there was a hair band that did that song.
Told it takes a high falsetto to make that, to be able to sing that. I think Steve Sparks
demonstrated.
No, I've got no shot, but Steve Sparks might be your guy. I mean, you've heard some of his demos, right?
They're bad.
He's been trying to get himself a record label.
He is awful.
And if you happen to be in a position to help a young man out, Steve Sparks is the name. Marisnick tries to bunt his way aboard.
Oh, he could probably hit that high note pretty good.
Talking about Sparky.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, he can hit just about any note. They're not the ones that you're anticipating.
As a musical note. There he is, Sparky on the left.
Yeah.
There he is, the singer.
He's looking up a song that he might be able to record soon. 0-2 on Jake.
Tried to send him a foul ball right there, Jake. It's nice of him.
Marisnick was 2 for 4 last night with a double. Stole a base. That was a big one. Set up a 2-run inning.
Yeah, that turned out to be huge. That brought the infield in on the grass, and Altuve hit a little floater that landed just on the edge of the outfield grass for that RBI.
The double last night for Marisnick, kind of like that pitch where he was maybe intentionally late and he shot it right down the right field side.
For me, if Jake could get right around 250, steal some bags in some key situations, and keep playing the defense that he does, I'd be perfectly happy with him.
Offers on the high heat. Down on strikes. First strikeout for Duffy. 2 down in the third. Back to the top with Jose Altuve.
High cheese, tough to lay off.
Altuve fly to center field in the first. He's hit an 8 straight. 301 that batting average.
I'd like to send a shout out to all my tweeps out there who are picking me up.
Tweeps.
The Darkness is the name of the band that sang a song, I Believe in a Thing Called Love. That was killing me. I was going to the depths of my skull to try and figure that one out. Didn't work out so well, so I appreciate that.
But for Marisnik, it was somebody else who sang that song, huh?
The Cure.
The Cure.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look that one up.
Kobe Rasmus has been a part of that running game this year. Running game that's best in the American League. The Astros with 74 bags on the year. They've been caught 25 times, though. Altuve with 20 doubles this year to go with the 9 home runs. That one will be back in the seats. Oh, 2 on Altuve. Third inning, scoreless ball game. Game 2 of this 3-game set. Tomorrow's game will be number 100 for the Astros. We still looking good on the weather?
Yeah, we're in the clear. We're good. Going to get this ball game in. It's going to be a beautiful night. Dressed up. Big game tomorrow.
Line shot into left field. Altuve now with a 9-game streak. Runners at first and second as Marwin Gonzalez comes to the plate.
Good piece of hitting. They're chasing some pitches out of the zone. Waits for that slider to come back to him and just turns on it. Keeps those hands back so nice. And just turns on it.
111 hits for Jose. And that easily leads the club. And a lot of people would be surprised who's second on the club in hits. It's Evan Gattis at 87. Marwin's 0 for 1, fly to center field in the first inning. Each team with a hit. The Astros with an error as Preston Tucker dropped a fly ball in left field. Steve Carlton lived a long time in the major leagues with that kind of a slider.
It's a nice comparison. I'm sure Duffy appreciates that.
Ron Guidry had that same thing, maybe a little more over the top. He'd almost leap at you with the slider. Little guy. If you're thinking it's kind of quiet in Kansas City tonight, you are right. There is no PA system whatsoever. The national anthem was sung by the fans as they just chimed in together.
I wonder how many hitters in each dugout are freaking out, well, especially on the home side with the Kansas City Royals. They don't have their walk-up music. How are you supposed to perform like that?
Ground ball up the middle. To his left is Escobar to make the play. The force at second. That'll do it for the Astros. They get a hit and a walk and strand a couple, but we're still scoreless.
Saturday, August 1st, when 10,000 fans will receive a Craig Biggio replica pinstripe jersey at the Biggio Hall of Fame weekend presented by Coca-Cola. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS today. Check out this video. This is all coming from Cooperstown. We have a crew out there, Kevin Eschenfelder and company, getting all this video as Craig Biggio will be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame this weekend. They were riding around in a parade today. Oh, the plaques are coming. This is exciting, guys.
Yeah, it is. And then you show shots of Babe Ruth and Ted Williams there at the Hall of Fame. Imagine hanging out with those guys for a while. Scott Feldman set to work it here in the third inning. Scoreless ball game. 7-8-9 for KC. A couple of double plays have been turned by the Astros defense tonight. We have learned that defense is sexy. It was this date in 1999 that saw George Brett, the great Kansas City Royal, go into the Hall of Fame. July 25th. Now, I was mentioning yesterday, Blummer, that the highway we're looking at up here, Highway 70, that runs right by the ballpark, is the George Brett, I believe, Expressway or some kind of.
How do they not call it the Pine Tar Express? Come on.
Well, maybe it was named before that incident. Fly ball hit to right field, shallow. Colby drifting to his right. And one out here in the third. This moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson. 10 years ago today, Craig Biggio and Lance Berkman did what no other pair of Astros have done before. Try to guess real quickly. Becoming the first Astros to hit back-to-back home runs twice in the same game.
What?
That is some kind of night.
For those two guys, everybody else is going, man, let us in on the party. That's pretty impressive.
First time through against Corey Lytle. Line drive to right field, but Colby's got him played. Two down. That was Paulo Orlando lining to right field. 2 outs as Gerard Dyson comes to the plate. Two guys going back-to-back twice on the same night.
Good grief. Pretty impressive.
And now one of those guys is heading to the Hall of Fame. What about the other?
Good chance.
Give him time.
Oh, man, he's one of the best switch hitters in the history of the game, I would say. Chipper Jones.
A guy that was called Fat Elvis. He's got to get in the Hall of Fame, right?
How dare you call him that?
No? Can't do that?
I would like Lance to be sitting right here when you call him Fat Elvis.
Lance would be so happy.
Oh, you would be elated, and you'd be in a headlock, too. That's what he came out with, the big Puma.
The big Puma there. Yeah. Dyson with an 0-2 count.
Fat Elvis are curse words in the Berkman household.
Wow,
can't do that to Lance.
It's always out there in print every time his name comes up.
Oh.
Sorry about that, Lance.
You only break that out if Lance is really getting on you. That's the silver bullet in an argument with Lance.
I'll remember
which
that.
Really happened.
Yeah, you can't get in an argument with Lance Berkman. One of the best guys you'll run into. He says, trying to dig himself out of that hole.
They need a bigger shovel.
Line drive to left, but Tucker's right there to make the play. 1-2-3, third inning. We're scoreless after 3, and boy, Craig Biggio is going to have a spot up there.
Royals looking for games on certain days of the week with giveaways, favorite rivalries, or maybe a little of each? With the Astros 14-game flex plan, you get to pick the games and seat locations that work best for you. Purchase your 14-game flex plan today by visiting astros.com/tickets or calling 1-877-9-ASTROS.
I'm at a ball game right now. Haven't watched any of it. Fourth inning, Carlos Correa leads it off, followed by Evan Gattis and Preston Tucker. Seemed to be a sizable outside edge. Correa with a 9-game streak. And the inside corner, 0-2 quickly. Fly ball center field. Dyson is there. And one out. Outfielders have been active. The Astros have turned a couple of double plays defensively on the infield. And it's all added up to a scoreless game. Cleanup man Evan Gattis at the plate.
Good swing by Correa. Yeah, there really hasn't been much for base runners, has there?
Quiet night.
2 for the Royals, 1 on a base hit, 1 on an error.
You've got to play there, Blummer.
Nah, it's too far to the right. Alex Trevino over there had an opportunity.
By the way, they've got the PA system going here in KC, so we've actually heard a little music. Good swing by Gaddis. 0-2 the count.
He's still sitting on that one, or up around his neck. He's waiting to attack that one. Loves that elevated fastball. Almost in that kill zone.
He does air it out up there, doesn't he? Just one hit for each team. And we're talking about cream of the crop in the American League. Little soft looper at second base. Infante makes the play. 2 down in the 4th inning. Kansas City Royals with the best record in the league. The LA Angels technically would have the 2nd best record, a couple of percentage points in front of Houston, but they are deadlocked atop the American League West. Two outs, bases empty for Preston Tucker. Hit a home run in last night's game. It's a big yard, and he hit a line drive that just carried out like a laser to right field.
Yeah, one of the highlights last night had it getting out of here in 3.79 seconds. It was a bullet.
Ball and a strike. Good breaking ball.
Coming right off that front hip. If you're a left-handed hitter, it's tough to keep that front side closed and try and decide to swing too.
Yeah, I think of George Brett and that great career hitting all from the left side against all those left-hand pitchers through the years. It's incredible having played the game and knowing how tough it is against the lefties that a guy could do that. Wade Boggs. What if third base was first base? Would that cause left-hand hitters to stay in and not pull off more? Huh? Now that's my theory, though, because right-hand hitters don't seem to have that major issue against right-hand pitching. Same angle created.
You believe this game was built for right-handers or left-handers?
For really good left-hand hitters, maybe, but for the rest, they're the guys that struggle the most. Lefty versus lefty is the toughest matchup in the game.
Yes.
Righty versus righty makes no difference. Big swing and a miss. Tucker down on strike. Second strikeout for Duffy in a 1-2-3 4th inning. We played 3.5 of scoreless baseball.
Our Super Mo's going to be brought to you by Mattress Firm. First strikeout for Scott Feldman, getting Alcides Escobar with that fastball up in the zone, 92 miles an hour. Then right here you get a chance to see Hosmer take this one look, and a good job of that two-seam rotation, tailing back over the inside part of the plate. Hank Conger sticking it for the backwards K.
So Feldman set to work it here in the fourth inning. Top of the order for KC. Royals have had 2 base runners, one on a hit, one on an error, but a couple of double plays turned in by the Astros defense, and Scott has faced just 9 through 3 innings. And Feldman has only needed 30 pitches to get through those 3.
Double plays are kind of nice.
Falls behind 2-0 on Alcides Escobar.
Feldman's ground ball rate hovering right around 49%.
Finds the outside edge.
That's that cutter at 90 miles an hour. It's a promising sign for Brent Strom, the Astros pitching coach.
Escobar 1 for 4 last night. Lines one to right field, but Colby playing shallow makes the play. How about that? And a good aggressive move by Colby Rasmus.
Yeah, we're always talking about the infield shifts that the Astros put on. League leader in that category, but what we rarely have a chance to see is a play like this, and this is why the outfield has shifted the way they are. From our vantage point, we get a chance to see it a lot with the opposite field outfielder playing shallow and over towards that foul line. That right there is the reason why.
Mike Moustakas at the plate has the only hit for KC. With the shift on, shot went through the right side. And we check in with Julia.
Hey guys, yeah, Scott Feldman not feeling really great about that first start back from being on the DL, just saying he wasn't as sharp. Looking better tonight, but coming off the DL, you don't really know what to expect, especially after those 2 rehab assignments. Those, of course, aren't the same as pitching in a big league ball game, but DL, he said, very boring.
Bobbled momentarily by Correa, but able to right himself and make the play. 2 down in the 4th inning.
Just to finish that up, Ash, he was talking about the DL being so boring. So glad to be back with his teams, with his buddies, and competing like he wants to be.
Yeah, thanks, Julia. And boy, it is. If anybody who's spent any time wanting to play and just can't get out there and perform, it's tough to do. Imagine George Springer, what he's going through right now, and yet he's the best of guys. He's one of those guys you are thrilled to have around the team when he's on the DL.
Be part of the reason he's still hanging around. But it's got to be miserable for him at that energy level he lives at, basically trying to suppress that by being on the DL and trying to find ways to keep yourself occupied. The DL is a miserable place.
George is just one of those positive guys and upbeat all the time. I think he lifts everybody around him. Ground ball right side, that shift on has Correa making the play again. A 1-2-3 4th inning. Scott Feldman rolling. It's a scoreless game after 4.
play Name That Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. And here are your clues for the night. Remember to tweet the guys in the booth, Ashton Blummer. Clues are: played for only the Astros and the Rangers, started one of the Astros' 10 triple plays, and once had a medical emergency involving a live moth. That's right, a moth. We'll answer this later in the broadcast, guys.
Thank you, Julia. I think that last clue is going to give a lot of people the answer, but is that one of the magic moments in Astros lore?
Could be. It's right up there with the B delay in San Diego.
Yeah. There was the little mini tornado, I think, in Pittsburgh one year. Brad Osmus might tell you there were the Jets going over Wrigley Field one year.
Yeah, that wasn't good. Didn't Jabba Chamberlain he got eaten alive in Cleveland in a playoff game by like mites or something like that?
That's right.
Something.
Yeah. The World Series of the Nats or whatever that was.
The Nationals?
Not those Nats.
Oh, the Gnats?
Yeah. The Midgets. That's what it was. Yeah. Chris Carter leading off here in the 5th inning. We thought we might have a bunch of rain at the start of play tonight. It has gone very nice in that regard, and quickly into the 5th inning. Uh-oh.
Gosh, what's wrong with you, man?
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he did, folks. So now I'm going to start looking for clouds and delays of games. Oh, man. Close the roof.
We are some very powerful men up here. 1 and 2 on Carter. He hammers one left center field. Dyson going back at the track, at the wall, and makes the catch. Boy, that sounded good coming off the bat of Carter. Nothing but a long out here in the 5th.
He's got a home run in his career off Duffy. He gets a fastball. Center cut. I'm with you. That initial noise, I thought that ball had jumped a little bit, but Ron Dyson makes that play right in front of the wall. And at this point, you're really hoping for anything from Chris Carter. I thought there was a real chance behind that one.
1 out for Colby Rasmus. He is the only Astro to have drawn a walk this evening. The only hit for Houston picked up by Jose Altuve in the 3rd inning. Scott Feldman has faced the minimum of the Royals through 4 innings. He's given up a hit and there's been an error, but a couple of double plays. Good old-fashioned pitching duel here this evening. Quite different in the numbers, though, for the 2 pitchers, as Feldman has needed just 40 pitches to get through 4. Matt Duffy through 4 innings, 67 pitches. Ground ball right at the second baseman. Infante with the play. There's 2 outs in the 5th. Brings up Hank Conger. Conger popped to second base in the 3rd inning. Six big home runs for Hank. A couple from this right side. Done pretty well against KC over his career, hitting .290. 3 doubles and a dinger. That's a 1-2 count. Hank has hit 4 of his 6 home runs at Minute Maid Park this year. Lines one on the right side, handled by Infante. So a line out by Conger. And we played 4.5, still looking for the first run. Presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare right now at southwest.com. And by Whataburger. You've never had a club sandwich quite like this. The Whataburger Honey Mustard What a Chicken Club. Here for a limited time. Want to look around? You see any crickets out there?
You look.
Well, I am looking, but I thought you might join me.
He's got a cricket bite. He was just checking it out. Look at. Got
right there,
here. Yeah.
Right there.
Smashed it with my forearm.
What's the deal? We've had a lot of people talking about the crickets tonight.
I don't know. I think Julia's down there.
I'm getting it too.
Stomping on crickets.
No, no crickets down there. But there are raindrops, by the way.
You've had some
really
Alan
big
Ashby.
raindrops.
Oh man, way to go, Ash.
Oh, you're going to drop that one on me?
Yes, it's your fault, Ash.
Okay, I'll take it. I'm a man.
Are y'all hearing a cricket up there for real, though?
No, we're not.
I thought that was you.
No crickets up
Wait a
there.
minute.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, we got it.
Must have been another one of Ash's jokes.
Say what? We're in the bottom of the 5th inning.
There it
is.
Oh, man, are you
finally
kidding me? Why don't they zoom in? It's crawling up the back of the chair Julia's sitting on. It's kind of gnarly.
Eric Hosmer's leading off for KC here in the 5th inning as a 2-2 count. Hosmer a strikeout victim in the 2nd. Hey Julia, we've got a correct response from a few of the folks listening in. In fact, got a number of them already.
It's pretty impressive how they get to some of these answers.
It's called Google. They're cheating.
Can you Google that?
Did you just called all of our fans cheaters? Unbelievable.
No, actually Brownie did first.
Throw Brownie under the bus. He's not even here. Beep, beep, beep. That's that bus backing up over Brownie again. Poor guy.
I hope they aren't Googling.
Oh, you know
they
the
wouldn't do
temptation is
that.
too
Come on.
much.
Little chopper on the right side. That's handled by Feldman. He'll apply the tag. Hosmer out. Number 1 here in the 5th inning brings up Salvador Perez.
Feldman's doing a great job of pounding that strike zone. He's basically got all 3 pitches working pretty good too. He's locating that fastball. We saw a good 2-seamer from him. Cutters on location, and I really haven't had to see too many of those breaking balls. Much to that man's delight, Brent Strom. Think he's enjoying his job here of late?
Man, oh man. Bring on the talent and apply some hard work. You got some good things happening. Colby Rasmus with the play. 2 down in the 5th inning as Perez flies out. It brings up the 6-hitter Alex Rios. Now we're getting the fans saying they're not cheaters. They just know their stuff.
You knew that was going to happen.
Well, we've got to divide the fans up, I think. It really doesn't matter how you get it. You just get the right answer, right?
That's all you're looking for. Just the facts.
Ma'am. Now, I know you never saw that show.
Dragnet?
Yeah, of course.
May not have actually watched it live on a television, but I've seen reruns.
Some of that late night TV when you pick up your golf clubs.
But Jerry's taking some heat from the fans for not handing out baseballs, man.
How'd you like to wear that helmet all night long here at KC? Fly ball, shallow left center field. Tucker coming on and slides into it to make the catch. A 1-2-3 5th inning. We are scoreless after 5 in KC.
Here at Kauffman Stadium. Nothing too serious, though. Jake Marisnick leads off this inning, who had a 2-for-4 night last night. Almost 3 hits, but offensively, hopefully he gets it going here. Really struggled towards the end of that first half of the season. Watching some video now of some of his highlights. Just really working hard to make adjustments at the plate, and he makes his team so much better when he's on base, especially with the speed that he has. But numbers show that when Jake is going, the team is going as well, hitting almost 300 when the Astros win, guys.
Thanks, Julia, and there's no doubt about it. And, you know, that defensive side, as we were talking about earlier, alone, Jake Marisnick is a difference maker. Look what he's done in the wins versus the losses.
It's good stuff. What I think is great is he's such a threat on the base paths. He can score from first base on anything in the gap, but the ability to steal the bases is what makes him unique. It makes the hitters see a couple more fastballs behind him too, which is great. And we've seen flashes of it. Still young guy trying to put it together, be consistent with it.
You know, and through the years, you'll find guys you're rooting for to see them get the offensive side going, but they might be smallish guys that have some limitations. Jake Marisnick is a big, strong guy.
I'm not sure if TV really translates, but he's easy 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, agreed. You come upon him and you realize just a big guy that can really fly. Down on strikes for the second time tonight. That starts the 6th inning. It brings up Jose Altuve.
Duffy's doing a good job of pitching him backwards. You're seeing some sliders early on down in the zone to get ahead, and then he just keeps climbing that ladder, and Jake Marisnick keeps chasing that pitch up in the zone.
Jose Altuve at the plate has the only Houston hit of the night. He rammed one through the left side in the 3rd inning. Altuve with a 9-game hitting streak.
There's that 4-seamer we're talking about. Get into the mid-90s with it, just climb that ladder. Marisnick right now having a tough time laying off it.
With the base hit, Altuve now hitting .303. It would take some kind of run now for Jose to get to that .341 like last year.
He's a power guy this year. 9 bombs.
So what if he hits 13, 14, 15 home runs and hits at 300? There's a line drive and another knock. 2nd of the night and the only 2 for the Astros. 1-out single brings up Marwin Gonzalez.
I love the reaction from pitchers when Jose Altuve goes out there and just throws the barrel at it, gets a knock out of it. Watch Duffy on the back end. He looks up and he's like, you got to be kidding me. Made a money pitch and a guy takes a swing like that and ends up being a line drive to center. That's the beauty in Jose Altuve.
You're supposed to only get hits when you have good pitches to hit, right?
He hasn't seen a pitch that isn't a good pitch.
I just don't know with Jose Altuve if it matters. I mean,
no.
When you look at the overall pitches that he hits, it's all over the place. Marwin's 0 for 2 on the night.
It's like saying Vladimir Guerrero went up there looking for a particular pitch.
Yeah, just as long as it didn't bounce twice, he was going to swing.
That's
right?
exactly right. There's a vicinity rule with him. If it's in the vicinity, he's swinging.
You know, I don't know if they have MVPs in highlight. Highlight's not what I want to say. What's the?
I'm not entirely sure.
What's the game that they bounce the ball to the plate?
Cricket.
Cricket. Yeah. Well, we don't want to bring up crickets again, but
Freudian
Vladimir
right
Guerrero could have been an MVP in cricket easily, don't you think?
Absolutely.
A couple of lobs over. Altuve leading the American League in stolen bases. Yeah, there it is.
That game of cricket.
I don't know why the fans think they've been hearing crickets tonight.
It's coming out of the bats.
Jeff Blum.
Yes, I am.
Oh, and 1 the count on Marwin. There's that slide step to keep the running game at bay. Matt Duffy hasn't shown a good move tonight, but he is a guy that has a good one.
It's quite the relationship going on over there at first base between Altuve and Hosmer.
What's going on with the grabbing game?
No, is that velvet?
Was that the question, you think?
Yeah. Questioning the jersey choice.
1 and 2 now. Now that
stop touching me, little man. Can't believe he looked at Hosmer. I can't believe you're still wearing that old polyester uni, man. It's hot out here. Got that new Climacool.
Line drive down the left field side, extra bases. Altuve is digging to third. He will be held there as Orlando gets it back in quickly. It's a 1-out double, and now runners at second and third, and the first real threat of the night.
Marwin Gonzalez, we talked about it earlier, getting that right-handed stick going, hitting 400 coming into this game over the last couple of months. Got a pitch up in the zone. He does such a good job of getting his hands up, keeping the barrel on top of the baseball and driving through that center part of it. Just a bullet down the left field line.
15 doubles for Marwin. And he's been such a valuable guy in there. And now Carlos Correa with a shot. Astros trying to be the first to strike here this evening.
What a luxury having Marwin Gonzalez on your team. Even if he's only hitting 250 on the season, he has the ability to play defense at a very high level at multiple positions, which is great. But now you add him swinging the bat like he is right now, and man, you got to keep putting him in that lineup.
He's been a dangerous guy, and I think your point's a good one. Is there a way to get his bat into the lineup every night?
And me being the broadcaster sitting up here in the booth and enjoying that thoroughly, would you question maybe putting him at first base every once in a while against a tough lefty or a tough righty?
I would not.
Take a little bit of the pressure off of Singleton, maybe having to face some of those tough righties. Put Marwin in there, veteran experience, swinging a good bat. He's capable on defense to help out his infielders and make a couple picks every now and then. But for me, just the bat.
Hanging breaking ball, a strike. It's 1-1 now on Carlos Correa. Carlos has flied out twice tonight. Marwin came into play hitting .359 in the month of July. And now the count at 1-2 on Carlos. Royals with some activity. Ryan Madsen in the bullpen. First real opportunity. Can the Astros seize it? Offering on that high heat.
Good quick bat from Correa, trying to test the youngster up, see if he can chase that pitch. But as quick as Carlos's hands, you might have to get another notch above that to try and beat him with it. But if you try and get a little bit too high, he's going to take it. He's got good strike zone discipline. But if you try and make a mistake out over the plate in this situation, he likes driving in runners.
And now Matt Duffy, after starting to come set, wants to talk with his catcher. Perez goes out.
Wonder if he feels there's a little communication between Marwin Gonzalez and Carlos Correa, the hitter. Sometimes the base runner at second base can pick off what signs are being put down. Thursday night is Young Professionals Night at every Astros home game. Connect with other young professionals while enjoying an extended happy hour in the Bud Patio from 5 to 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, July 30th. For more information, visit astros.com/youngprofessionals or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. And that young professional is working on his swing. Plenty of time, kid.
Sure looks easy on TV and at the ballpark, doesn't it?
Yeah, keep your chin up. You'll be all right.
Fly ball to center field. This should be plenty deep enough to get a run. Tagging is Altuve. He will come in and score. Into third base, Marwin Gonzalez. It's a 1-0 Houston lead on a sac fly by Carlos Correa. RBI number 27 for the young shortstop.
That was a big league at bat from a young kid, only 20 years old. You see elevating in the zone with a 1-2 count, trying to get that chase from Correa to get the swing and miss, but his hands are pretty quick, able to get to it. But what's even better, he's able to hit it deep enough to score Altuve. Marwin Gonzalez also does a great job of going back and tagging up and getting to third base 90 feet closer with 2 outs.
So the Astros get on the board first. It takes Carlos Correa to get it done, with Altuve and Marwin Gonzalez getting the inning started with 1 out. And now the RBI guy, a chance to maybe add a second run here in the inning. And again, if you think Evan Gattis has not supplied the RBIs at a rate to get all this credit since April 26th, first in the American League in RBIs along with Jose Bautista, of the Toronto Blue Jays. So it was a very rough start for Evan, but he's turned it on. As a 1-2 count. Gaddis stays alive.
Gotten away with a couple of hangers right there. Back-to-back pitches. Looked like pretty good pitches to hit.
The Astros with 3 hits on the night. Royals just 1 against Scott Feldman.
Ooh, that was a 1.
Got a pitch to handle. That high heater.
Oh, yeah. Pitch number 100. Danny Duffy. Nice moist evening. Probably worked up a pretty good lather. We'll see if how much longer he lasts. Might be his last hitter.
Ground ball left side right at the shortstop. Escobar with the play. That'll do it for the Astros in the 6th. But they get a run on a couple of hits and leave a man at third. 1-0 Houston through 5.5.
Astros now bottom 6. And it's time to name that Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We gave you the clues earlier. This Astro, of course, having an incident with a live moth, is Mike Sims. Okay, so he started a triple play against the Dodgers in 1991 from right field. Okay, so then, we're looking at it now. This is the first of 10 Astros triple plays. We'll take a look at it back in 1991. Ooh. Okay, so 6 days later, guys, a moth flew into his ear in Atlanta while he was standing on the on-deck circle. Dave Labossiere took it out with a pair of surgical scissors. Let's check the, oh gosh, we have video.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. That looks painful.
That is a nightmare situation.
Wow.
And no animals were harmed in the incident, right?
No, they weren't. Larry Durker said. Now, there's the difference between a great trainer and a merely good one, or merely a good one. He saved the patient and the moth, so the moth was fine.
Well done. And a nice story from Julia. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. 1-0 Houston. 7-8-9 coming up for the Royals. Omar Infante, the second baseman, leads it off. Scott Feldman hits the ground ball on the left side. Marwin with the play after the 360. And out number 1.
Great play. Man can do it all. How about Feldman getting all these ground balls? Good to see, too. A couple of double plays gets him out of here, but get that leadoff hitter. Job ranging to his left. Marlins got a good arm, too. See him casually turn around, make a nice, strong throw.
You know what? That's a point that I've been talking about lately, too. I'm not sure people realize what a good throwing arm he has. He's got that nice drop-down style from third base, kind of like Adrian Beltre a bit. Paulo Orlando at the plate, line to right field in the third. Alex Gordon on the DL, that fine left fielder for KC. Did you think that factored in last night on the Preston Tucker double to left field?
Well, you have to ask the question, just because Alex Gordon is a Gold Glove left fielder, plays fantastic out there, comes up with big plays when his pitchers need it. And with that flying ball getting over Orlando's head in left field, I think that had a little bit to do with it. Can't assume he's going to make the play, but you know he's going to give it a pretty darn good effort.
Two balls and a strike on Orlando.
You've got to give credit to Orlando, too. Gave a good throw into the cutoff man. The relay was home, and they nailed Altuve at home plate.
3 balls and a strike now as Feldman falls behind.
Seen too many 3-ball counts from Scott Feldman this evening.
I was trying to think if we have seen a 3-1 count throughout the evening from Scott. Hot shot to short on a hop. Correa with the play. And out number 2. 9th ground ball out induced by Feldman.
There was a bullet off the bat of Orlando. One hopper. Shortstop in the right position. Makes it look easy. Watch Feldman say, "Attaboy, Los."
Looks like maybe Scott Feldman, along with enjoying his night, although I don't know if it's time to enjoy it yet, but he's had some pressure on him lately as the Astros have been bringing up good young arms from the minor leagues. And
well, there's a lot of expectation, I would imagine, on Scott to go out there and perform in this rotation the way it's working right now. And you know, don't kid yourself. He's a veteran. He's been around for a while. He understands the position he's in. He understands that there's some good young live arms out there. And nobody on any team wants to be the weakest link. And he came out today and he pitched extremely well so far.
After a bunt effort, Dyson now fouls it off. Has an 0-2 count. 1 KC hit tonight against Scott Feldman.
A great looking line that is right there. No walks. Pitching to contact, letting that defense do it behind him. He said 9 ground ball outs.
2 double plays. He got one in the first, one in the second inning. It's a great formula for being able to get deep into a ball game. I haven't heard the attendance tonight, but would seem to be a packed house here in KC. They've had a great home record this year, although the Astros are trying to spoil that after winning last night. Royals are 32-18 at home. The Astros 33-17. Talk about efficiency.
I think this ballpark kind of breeds that attack the strike zone mentality for pitchers, just because this yard plays so big. Got an outfield like the Astros do that can cover a lot of ground. Why not go after it and force them to swing the bats?
Broken bat, ground ball. That's right at Carter. He goes to the bag. And another 1-2-3 inning. That's 13 in a row now retired by Scott Feldman. The Astros lead it.
bullpen. Ryan Madson coming on for the Kansas City Royals. Having himself a good year after a couple of injury-plagued seasons. 43rd appearance. 10 holds at ERA again under 2. Good fastball changeup combination. Still throws quite hard. 39 2/3, 35 Ks in those innings pitched.
Ryan Madson, 34 years of age, out of Long Beach, California. He was a Philadelphia Phillies 9th round pick back in 1998. Came up with the Phils in 03. Pitched with the Phillies through 2011 and hadn't pitched in the major leagues since 2011. Preston Tucker leads it off, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Pitched in the minor leagues in 2013. Boy, this is an improbable comeback. Sharply hit and right at the only man on the left side. Moustakas makes the play.
That was a nice play. Sometimes as a third baseman in the shift, you're kind of hanging out over there wondering if you're going to get any action. Right here, this is a seam hit right at him. Did a good job of getting in position to backhand that. Nice play.
I want to say that's the second time in the last week that Preston Tucker's hit a ball right at the third baseman on that left side. 1 out for Chris Carter. Carter has grounded out and flied out.
Ooh, it's a good look at it right there. Good job of Tucker letting that ball get deep.
One and one on Chris. Boy, that's a persevering young man. In his 43rd game this year with KC after not pitching in the major leagues since 2011. 2-1 on Carter. Make that 2-2 on Carter.
I think if I had Ryan Madson's stuff, I would persevere a little bit too. If I could get back to form like he is, 95, 96 miles an hour. He's got a wicked changeup. A little slider every now and then, but he has got great stuff.
Known as Mad Dog. Little changeup trying to get Carter to fish. 3-2 the count. He was a setup man for Brad Lidge in Philadelphia. Carter pops it up shallow in right field. Alex Rios with the play. 2 down here in the 7th.
Celebrate Craig Biggio at the Biggio Hall of Fame weekend presented by Coca-Cola from July 31st to August 2nd. Giveaways throughout the weekend include a Biggio Hall of Fame bobblehead, a replica pinstripe jersey, and a replica Hall of Fame plaque, each to 10,000 fans. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Hobie Rasmus at the plate has walked and grounded out. Madson signed with the Reds in 2012, but ruptured his ulnar collateral ligament in spring training. So that was part of what went on for him. Missed that entire season, had Tommy John surgery. Signed with the Angels for 2013, pitched only in the minor leagues, and then released in August.
Oof. Not an easy guy to go up against when you're throwing that hard and can pull the string on a changeup like he just did to Colby Rasmus.
Inside corner, caught looking Rasmus. A 1-2-3-7 for Ryan Madsen. It's a 1-0 Houston lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
Well, and representing the Astros pitching rotation extremely well with those numbers on the bottom, and I believe now they are 1-2 in the ERA battle in the American League. Kazmir dropping that ERA to 2.24 last night. A couple of lefties dealing out there. Be a lot of fun to watch the rest of the season.
Yeah, having a couple of your starters be in that kind of a battle is not a bad thing for your club. Dallas Keuchel at 212. Scott Kazmir at 224 as the first pitch. Diving stop. Correa throws from his knees, not in time. Quite an effort, but not enough. As KC gets a leadoff hit here in the 7th inning by their leadoff man, Alcides Escobar.
It would have taken a miraculous play to get a guy like Escobar moving down that first baseline. And Carlos Correa almost provided it. Did a great job of making that catch, laying out. We've seen him lay out and make some great plays previously. But this one deep in the hole, tough to get anything on that throw from your knees.
Nobody out. Escobar aboard. 1-0 Houston in the 7th.
The first base runner since the error in the 2nd inning by Preston Tucker.
Escobar has been a hot hitter, 50 hits now since the middle of June. Shift on for Moustakas, who has singled and grounded out to Correa, playing on that right side of second at the time. The Astros bullpen quiet for the moment. Kansas City has a right-hander tossing. Two 2-0 the count.
I'm a little surprised to see Escobar still at first base, to be honest with you. I don't think this combination of Feldman Conger is a tough one to run on for me. Feldman, a big guy, takes a little bit longer than normal to get to home plate. Conger having the issues going down to second base. I think I'd take my chances. But here in a 2-0 count, wonder if he's going to try and leave that hole open for Moustakas to try and shoot it through there.
Moustakas instead hits one high in the air toward left center field. It's Jake Marisnick calling and making the catch, and out number 1. Talking about Dallas Keuchel and Scott Kazmir now. Take a look at these numbers.
That's incredible. Dallas Keuchel rules the roost with all those number 1 rankings, but that guy on the left is coming up strong. Just incredible numbers that those guys are able to put up. 1 and 2. I mean, 2 top 5 pitchers in your rotation at this point in the season as you're trying to chase down a pennant is very encouraging.
And that great first effort by Kazmir last night, very promising. 1 out for Kendrys Morales. There's the toss over. Escobar is 7 of 11 in stolen base attempts this year. Hank Conger has thrown out 1 of 21 this year. So as Blummer says, be surprising if the Royals don't try to run.
It's a 1-run ball game. You get into second base, a base hit ties this thing up. I think they'd be a little more aggressive trying to get into that scoring position.
Scott Feldman has had 7 stolen bases in 9 tries against him, so it is kind of a lethal combo.
And with all the ground balls that Feldman is getting today, he's already got 2 double plays that got him out of some jams. Why wouldn't you try and run and get out of that jam?
Big swing and a miss by Morales. 0-2 the count. Eric Hosmer waits on deck. A run on 3 hits for Houston. No runs, 2 hits for the Royals. In the air in deep right center field. Long run. Marisnick on the move. Can't get there. Extra bases. Here comes Escobar to score. And now it kicks out of the ballpark. It will be a ground rule double, and that'll keep the run from scoring. So the Astros catch a break on that double. Runners will be at second and third with 1 out for the cleanup man, Eric Hosmer. A.J. Hinch coming out.
Seen Danny Duffy climb that ladder with 94 miles an hour. It's a little bit tougher to catch up to it, but when you're only throwing around 90 miles an hour, it's a little bit easier for these guys to get to it. But even so, that ball was hit relatively high. I thought Jake Marisnick was going to have a chance to get under that thing as well as he chases those balls down. But we talked about how the outfield shifts a little bit to the opposite field against hitters. So with the left-handed hitter up, Jake Marisnick was in that left center field gap. That was a long way for him to go to even get that close.
So we get a little peek at Marisnick digging for it, but never could quite get there.
I love how Marisnick is mad at himself every time he misses a ball. He feels he should catch everything that's in the air. I love that attitude.
The Astros are going to put Hosmer aboard intentionally, so it'll be a free pass to load him up and bring up the catcher Salvador Perez. For the moment, that Astros bullpen remains quiet. Third wide one. And so the bases are loaded. A single, a double, and a walk.
Sets up that double play possibility. Perez doesn't run all that well. He's got good thump in that bat. But as well as Feldman's been keeping that ball on the ground, this is probably what A.J. wanted to create that double play situation.
And just 76 pitches for Scott. So he works it to Perez. Double play depth in the infield.
Perez has been swinging early in his ABs.
Makes one inside that almost clipped him.
Trying to get in that kitchen of the big right-handed hitter Salvador Perez. Don't let him get extended. Get one off the label, hit it on the ground, turn that double play.
Right off the end of the bat. Ball and a strike. Perez has reached on an error and flied to right.
But again, right here, Salvador Perez, his approach is to get something elevated. He can drive to the outfield. One out. And all he's concerned about right now is getting that runner in from third base. Something elevated he can hit hard.
Hits it in the air down the left field side, not deep, near the seats. It's Tucker with the catch, foul territory, coming to the plate, Escobar, and he will score as the other runners move up. It'll be a sac fly for Perez, and the Royals have tied it at 1.
Wasn't a bad pitch. Perez just did a better job of getting underneath this and skying it down that left field line. And tough for the left-handed throwing Tucker to get around this ball and get into a good throwing position. A little bit offline, and as soon as those base runners behind Escobar saw that ball floating over the cutoff man's head, they advanced 90 more feet.
It's the 7th inning. Would there be any thought there at all of letting that ball drop and still try to get the double play?
I'm not a big fan of that. I say if you can get the out, you catch it, get the out, take your chances at home plate.
Agreed.
There might have been an opportunity where Escobar hesitates a little bit and decides not to leave from third. You got to take your chance and get that out.
Runners now at second and third for Alex Rios. See where that pitch was on Perez.
Threw it to the location he was aiming for.
Royals fans for the good part on their feet here at Kauffman Stadium. Popped up on the right side and curling back to the seats. $38,393. That's the number of the fans on hand here tonight. 16th sellout on the year for Kansas City. They're 4th in the American League in attendance.
And they are all on their feet right now.
Two outs, 1-1 on Rios. Little chopper. Marwin with the play on the run. Nicely done. And that'll do it for KC, but they get a run and leave a pair. Through 7, we're tied at 1.
MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet. You guys.
Thanks a lot, Julia. Well, we've got a good one going here in KC. One of the fans out there says feels like playoff baseball, and it does a bit.
It really did that inning. Royals fans rising to their feet. It's a good feeling. You get used to it now. It's going to be like this the rest of the season.
Wade Davis now comes on out of that very tough Kansas City bullpen.
He has not allowed a home run over his last 123 2/3 innings. He's also got an ERA that is just absolutely minuscule, 0.43. Sounds like fun.
The Astros will try to find a way with the 8, 9, and 1 spots. Hank Conger leads it off, turns around and bats left-handed. First pitch is a curveball that stays high. A good swing on this breaking ball, but a pop up down the right side. Infante, the second baseman, in foul territory. Out number 1.
I think the Royals think Conger can hit a heater.
Yeah, it would seem so in that at bat.
Wade Davis can pump it in there about 96 miles an hour pretty consistently. He decides to go with that curveball to get Hank Conger out.
1 out for Jake Marisnick. Some news made today in Chicago. Wrigley Field, 5-0. The Phillies beat the Cubs. That was kind of the backstory, though, as Cole Hamels threw a no-hitter for the Phillies. Doing that with trade rumors swirling around.
Yeah, he just did Ruben Amaro a favor.
Think he made himself a little more valuable?
Unless you look at the pitch count and worry about his arm. Threw 129 pitches.
Ball and a strike on Marisnick. Jake is 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts tonight. Routine fly ball to finish off that no-hitter today. Or it should have been.
Wow, Jake just got punched out on
He did.
2-strike call there.
Trip Gibson was
pretty aggressive.
I think he got confused on the count.
Watch the umpire. That's his punch out.
See ya. Count is 1-2. Third time tonight for Jake.
And Jake has been challenged with that fastball. He's been getting a lot of breaking balls early in his counts, falling behind in that sense. But once they've gotten Jake to 2 strikes, they've gone after him with nothing but cheese.
And now Altuve, 2 for 3. Has 2 of the 3 Houston hits. Hit pretty well. Center field, Gerard Dyson going back on the track and makes the catch. And then runs into that center field wall. So Altuve gave it a charge, but a 1-2-3 8th inning as we remain tied.
play. Top of the fourth inning, Alcides Escobar leading off. It's a line drive to right field, dropping, but Colby Rasmus, Johnny on the spot out there with that GPS lined up perfectly, makes a nice diving catch. Hits have been hard to come by in this ball game. Only 6 total, 3 apiece for both ball clubs.
The Astros picking up a run in the 6th. The Royals tie him in the 7th inning. And Scott Feldman still on the hill. He has been very good tonight, I think, bottom line, and he's not had to use a lot of pitches. Gotten a couple of double plays behind him. Had allowed just 1 hit until the 7th. He'll face the 7, 8, 9 spots for the Royals. Omar Infante leads it off. I think bottom line, this is a great bit of news for the Astros that Scott Feldman is pitching into the 8th inning.
Absolutely. There were 92 pitches in that last outing. Right now he's got 83 here through 7. But definitely a good sign. Pitching extremely well. Playoff atmosphere against a playoff team.
It's a ground ball to short. Carlos Correa with the play. 12 ground ball outs now. Pat Neshek gets it loose for the Astros. Well, likely the final inning for Scott Feldman. And talk about Cole Hamels making his stock rise. I would imagine same's true for Scott Feldman right now.
Getting these atmospheres where you're running for a pennant, you got to go with the hot hands, and Scott Feldman is showing that he's got a hot hand right now, and he's able to make the adjustments.
Hot shot kicks off of Marwin. Correa with the throw, not in time, and that thing just ate up Marwin Gonzalez. They quickly rule it a base hit.
The joys of the hot corner, playing in because a guy might possibly bunt, then he barrels one up and ricochets one off your forearm. Did a good job of keeping it in front of him. That ball gets by him. It may be a double, but not an easy position to play.
That's a job just staying in front of that thing. Marwin shaking his left hand now. Come up and hit you on the wrist. Just mess up your night. Gerard Dyson at the plate. The Royals like to run. Third in the league with 59 bags. Orlando has just 2 of those stolen bases in 3 tries. Royals now lead in the hits department 4-3. You know the count. Dyson taking some long looks down at their third base coach. And a strike is called. Have you got the real count, Blummer? The board here in center field has a 1-2 count. I think it's 2-0. I'm 2-1 rather.
I'm just annoyed that Gerard Dyson took a 2-0 fastball right down the middle.
Little chopper back to the mound. Feldman checks second, makes sure to get the out at first. While moving into second is Paulo Orlando. So a second ground ball out in the inning, but the Royals now with 2 outs have a man in scoring position for leadoff man Alcides Escobar.
Good choice by Feldman. I think when he finally turned around and looked at second base, realized it was going to take a pretty good throw. You can kind of see he juggled the ball a little bit, went for the sure out. Inches out there to get him. He's pitched extremely well this evening.
7 2/3 innings for Scott Feldman as Pat Neshek now comes in to slam the door. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare right now at southwest.com. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. Scott Feldman really good this evening. Leaves tied and a runner left at second base. And so now he counts on Pat Neshek to get it done.
Did a great job. 7 2/3 innings, only giving up 4 hits. 1 earned run at 1 walk through 90 pitches total, 58 of those strikes. It was a good evening. Now it's a battle of the top 2 bullpens in the American League. Pat Neshek on for the 42nd time.
I don't think the KC bench was real happy about that call.
I think it was a pretty good pitch, but numbers tell you he's thrown a lot of good pitches. 22 holds this season. Tied for second in all of Major League Baseball.
Fly ball center field. It appears Neshek will get the job done, and he does as Marisnick makes the catch. And that does it. We've played 8. We're tied at 1.
in the ninth. And when you talk about valuable players for the Houston Astros, you got to talk Margot. Had a big at bat earlier today in the sixth, the double to move Altuve from first to third. Of course, Altuve would end up scoring on Correa's sac fly, but he's come up with big at bats all year long for this team, and that's off the bench as well. He's filled in many different positions, helping guys out when they go down with injuries, and just a huge part of the success that this team is having. Of course, A.J. Hinch going with the hot bat today, putting him in there and putting him in the 2-hole today, too, to get something going at the top of the lineup. So we'll see what he does here in the ninth, guys.
Marwin will lead it off, and he'll do it against another successful member of this Kansas City bullpen. Greg Holland has been very good.
Fastballs, sliders, split finger, curveball. He's got it all. 21 saves. Roughed up a little bit. He was out there last time, July 23rd against Pittsburgh. Went 1 inning, giving up 4 hits and an earned run.
Late little dive gets Marwin to swing over it.
See, that's what's not fair. That's a cutter. But according to the notes that we get, it says it's a slider coming in there at 87, 88 miles an hour. That's pretty darn nasty. He's got good depth on it, too.
Straight down on that break. Ball and a strike on Marwin, who is 1 for 3 tonight. Had a big double in the 6th. That led to the only Houston run of the night. Jose Altuve scoring on a sac fly by Carlos Correa. Got some of the fans, Blummer, looking very closely at what's going on around other major league games with some of the names involved in trade talk, and Adam Lind with the Brewers taken out of a ball game, and imagine there's some thinking as to, okay, so what's going on there. First baseman for Milwaukee.
Having a good year. Good left-handed bat. Somebody might find that valuable. Gerardo Parra is another guy out there in Milwaukee who's swinging a very good bat.
Yep.
Valuable outfielder. Gold Glover also.
Tedford all over that one. Stayed up and popped up on the left side. Is there room? It gets back to the seats.
See a good hammer. See Holland really getting on top of that, coming out of the backside of his hand. Good spin, good downward action.
Sometimes as a major league hitter, you take a swing and you're not even close.
Come on, you never did that.
Whew. Thankfully, they don't have all the video from those days that they currently have today.
Yeah, I had my share too.
Ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit to start the 9th inning. Marwin Gonzalez with his 2nd knock of the night.
Now, you being an ex-catcher, could you please explain to me how you throw a guy some just nasty off-speed stuff, and we just saw the replay, swing and miss by 1.5 feet, and you come back in a 2-strike count and throw a heater right down the middle?
Yeah, that's a great question. Sometimes you're trying to think along with the hitter and figure you got him fooled. And sometimes it's simply the pitcher saying, no, I've got it figured out. Here's what I want, you know, and you can get really frustrated behind the dish. Leadoff single, Marwin aboard for Carlos Correa. How did the Astros play this one?
Kidding me?
Back in time, that fastball at 95. Correa 0 for 2 has the sac fly, driving in his 27th run of the year. This is a scoreless game through 5 innings.
Ooh, man, kid has got some quick hands.
Yes, he does. Maybe trying to shoot one to right field right there.
It's a veteran approach against a tough guy in Greg Holland. But now in an 0-2 count, you're in straight defense mode right here, because you know the 2nd and 3rd pitches that Holland has are equally as nasty. Got away with one.
Hits it down the right side to the seats.
But again, you know, pitchers, just a simple change in velocity will get swings like this. Yeah, it was a good pitch to hit, but still, Correa took a good pass at it, but off the end of the bat.
You know, we recently with the Red Sox saw Xander Bogaerts, and one of the things I liked about him was the way, especially late in the count, he would shoot toward right field. We're seeing some of that with Carlos Correa. Off speed, just misses.
That was that split finger. And you know what the approach is? I think, talking to a lot of guys I came up with and played with, so you get another look at it. That split grip just hung up. Hands are a little bit moist. Maybe the ball jumps out of there, doesn't get a good grip on it. But guys will look for that fastball away in 2 strike counts and try and adjust to everything else.
Ground ball up the middle. At the bag, they get one. Correa legs it out at first base, so it'll be a fielder's choice. Marwin erased, 6 unassisted, and 1 out now for Evan Gattis.
Good hustle by Correa. Did a good job of putting this ball in play. But Alcides Escobar, we know he can pick it out there at shortstop. Good defense for the Kansas City Royals. Helped them get to the playoffs last year. But it just takes one with this Houston Astros offense.
He's looking to see that ground ball hit the bag.
That would have been nice.
Evan Gattis 0 for 3 tonight. Just starting to get dark here in Kansas City. I think Evan had plans about trying to put the Astros in front with that swing.
That's what I'm talking about. Leave that one out over the plate. So many home runs hit by these Astros hitters. I know this is a big ballpark. They've got the pop to leave.
136 home runs for Houston.
Ooh,
that thing goes straight down, doesn't it?
You still kind of get that like knee-jerk reaction as an ex-hitter on some of these pitches that you see. You're like, ugh.
You know, if you're thinking trying to juice one, that pitch will tame you right away.
Absolutely. The depth on that. By depth, I mean the way the downward action.
Got word on that Adam Lynn departure, back tightness, or so they say. Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down, and they got him. The double play, strike him out, throw him out, and there goes the 9th inning. It starts out with a base hit and winds up with the Astros having just 3 go to the plate, still tied. One tie. Pat Neshek still on the hill. He'll face the 2, 3, 4 spots for the Royals. Mike Moustakas leads it off. 1 for 3 on the night. Had a first inning single. Royals brought on George Brett as a pinch, or rather as a hitting coach a couple of years ago to, in good part, help with Mike Moustakas, and he's finally got it worked out. Shift on defensively.
I'd like to have George Brett as my hitting coach just so I could ask him questions and hear all the stories he's got.
Off speed, you could see Moustakas waited on that well, and that's, yeah, isn't that the truth? Just sit around with George Brett and suck it up. We've seen George telling some stories. He can tell them pretty well, can't he?
Sure can. That's what I mean. I want to hear some of that good stuff, some of that off the record type stuff. How about some of the teams he played on and some of the series he played in here with the Royals?
Back in the days when they matched up with the Yankees in those big rivalries.
Kind of doesn't get talked about much, but that was a huge rivalry during the early mid-'80s, wasn't it? The Royals-Yankees matchup?
Well, they were good teams, and it forced them in a lot of big games together. Back to the seats. Stays at 1-2.
The in-state World Series with the Cardinals.
Yes, that's true.
That was a good one.
Of course, there wasn't interleague play back in those days, so that was postseason only.
That was a big deal. Might have been a different series in this state.
Yeah,
if they had instant replay.
Wow, that play at first base.
Yeah, it just jumped in your head, didn't it? Yeah, that's what I remember from that matchup.
Again popped up and again back to the seats. Yeah, that was a play that certainly would have been overturned.
Crazy to think about.
Crucial call at first base, and I'm glad Major League Baseball is getting it right. Royals met the Yankees in the ALCS in 76, 77, 78, and 1980. So therein lies a good rivalry.
I would say so. MAB right now.
Yeah. You can see that Moustakas is seeing the ball well. He's waiting very nicely on off speed. That wasn't happening this way a couple of years ago for the Royals third baseman.
All that patience paid off. Big part of that AL championship team last year. Continuing to do it this year.
Just getting a piece. Moustakas stays alive.
Yeah, and Pat Neshek really hasn't wasted any pitches. These are all foul balls on a 1-2 count.
Eighth pitch of the at bat coming up. Pat Neshek got the final out of the eighth inning, getting Escobar. Again, the off speed, and again, waiting nicely. Moustakas.
One way of putting it, that pitch came in there at 66 miles an hour. Keep in mind, the Neshek pitch is around 90-91. Taking a huge chunk of velocity off that pitch, and Moustakas, like you said, the hands are back, still in good position to be able to fight that off.
You know, that talk about maybe postseason play, the feel of it. I think Kansas City Royal fans right now have that feel.
I completely agree. They're in on every pitch.
Line to right field. Rasmus back in a fine running grab. Running right to the corner. And that's out number one, and a hard-earned out number one.
And again, you just can't say enough about what this Astros outfield goes out and does on a daily basis. Conger wanted that pitch a little bit higher, trying to beat him up in the zone, but Moustakas, after seeing 8 pitches, turned on that one. But Colby Rasmus got a great jump, chase that one down, get big first out of this inning.
How about mentioning this? We've talked a lot about the defense of Jake Marisnick. Colby Rasmus can flat go get it any part of this outfield.
I completely agree.
He has played a great outfield. Fly ball down the left field side. Tucker toward the seats and runs out of room. Henrys Morales had that double in the 7th inning to set up the sac fly. Morales hitting .278. It was Kendrys Morales back with the Angels who hit a home run, celebrated coming into home plate, and broke his ankle.
That was awful. Replays on that were gross.
That was really a turnaround in a career that was going nothing but upward.
Tell you what, though, the Kendrys Morales we're seeing this year is reminiscent of that. But I'm always impressed with how organizations are able to get rid of longtime guys, and I mean Billy Butler for the Kansas City Royals, and yet know the right time to let those guys go and cut ties and then replace them with a guy like Kendrys Morales, who we know has had some rough years in the past, and comes in and does a great job and plugs a hole that they much needed with that left-handed switch hitting bat too.
Billy Butler went over to the Oakland A's, and he's been a good hitter, a very good hitter through his career, but a guy who maybe is tailing off a bit. Another one of these at bats.
My goodness, Neshek is throwing nothing but foul balls.
How do you grip those?
Not quite sure.
Kendrys Morales hit 34 bombs back in 09 with the Angels and drove in 108 that year.
And he has 65 RBIs now. Butler had 66 all of last year.
A floating changeup gets the strikeout. 66 miles an hour.
How do you do that? How do you take that much velocity off from changeup? Just like that.
Yeah,
a little bit of a fork.
I feel like watching Neshek. Sometimes he shows the change.
Slows down that arm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to take the velocity off by changing your grip, but you slow it down that much, you got to slow that arm down a little bit.
But he's been very effective facing the 4-hitter Eric Hosmer. Comes in with a 7-game hitting streak. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. That was the intentional pass in the 7th. Loaded the bases. Salvador Perez took advantage with a sac fly on a foul ball fly ball down the left field side.
Ground rule double by Kendrys Morales. Kind of almost the play of the game, having it bounce into the seats. That ball stays down. The run comes home. Possibly Kendrys gets to third on a throw home, maybe. You never know. But forcing that runner to stay at third just turned Salvador Perez into a sac fly.
Deep down the left field side, back at the wall. Tucker leaps. It's off the wall, in play. Digging for third is Hosmer. And he has a 3-bagger, and at the moment the Astros will take that. Boy, how close this ball was to getting out.
Yeah, I wonder if there's anybody up in the video room taking a peek at this. They're going to show it. We're going to see it too. I always have a tough time watching a guy that throws sidearm trying to elevate. That's not a natural thing for them to do, is try and create that release point that leaves it up. But that ball, right off the top of the padded wall, right where that steel gate is. Unbelievable. Just about a 1.5 feet away from ending this thing right here. And I'm with you, Ash. It's a good thing that's just a triple.
Yeah, that's a break for the Astros. And Tucker came very close, so Neshek is done with his night. We're still tied. Have a man at third base here in the bottom of the ninth inning, as now Will Harris comes on to face Salvador Perez.
Just turned into quite the matchup. Starters did great. Danny Duffy and Scott Feldman. Now we're seeing the war of bullpens. We talked about how the Royals are number 1, Astros number 2 as far as ERA is concerned. Will Harris gets into this one, picking up for Pat Neshek. 40th appearance, phenomenal ERA, average against him, extremely tough, working that fastball over the top, a little bit of cut to it, and a pretty nasty 12-6 hammer when he needs it.
Go right down to this.
This place is jumping.
And I would safely say there may not be a Royals fan in his seat right now, all standing. Harris with his first pitch, and a nice play by Hank Conger.
These are good times. If you're a professional athlete and you have a chance to play in an atmosphere like this, you better enjoy every minute of it.
Yeah, this is good. This is what you sign up for.
Man, isn't it though?
Perez fouls it back as the only Royals ribby of the night. That is 41st on the year. Came on the sac fly in the 7th.
I get the question, what do you miss most about the game? And this is it right here. Yep. Playing in these situations, whether you're in the home team's dugout or the road unis, feels good every time.
Another pitch that left Conger with a tough play. 2-1 the count.
Will Harris might be feeling it a little bit too. You get highly excitable. But as a team in that gray uniform, you have a chance to silence 40,000 people. It's a darn good feeling.
2-2 now.
May have gotten away with one there, leaving it up out over the plate.
That's what it looked like.
But again, that late velocity and that late cut from Will Harris.
No, that's what Hank Conger wanted. He had that target up. But that seems to be a pretty good pitch to handle for a guy like Perez.
Hammer.
And now 3-2. Nice job again by Conger.
That's a good pitch too. Want that breaking ball. You don't want to leave it up out over the plate. I know it's a 2-2 count. And if you miss, you go to that 3-2 count. But there's a chance you might get an excitable hitter that chases. Another right-handed hitter on deck. Are you coming with the heat here, Ash, or are you going to throw that breaking ball, get a chase maybe?
It's all about feel, but you can see it's going to be a heater. And ball 4. That'll put runners at first and third. But there's nothing in the storyline about a man being on first base right now.
No, all that matters is that runner at third base. 2 outs, force at second base for the infield.
Brett Strom's coming out to the mound. They're not going to change anything with Will Harris out there. Nobody throwing in the Astros pen. And by the way, Harris allowing just over 4 hits per 9 innings this year. He's the man you want out there.
Absolutely. Been pitching great all season. He's earned the right to be out there in this situation. And Brent Strom's probably encouraging him, telling him this is where you belong. This is how well you've pitched. Just trying to get him re-engaged, maybe give him a brief scouting report on Alex Rios that they talked about before the game. Make sure him and Conger are on the same page. But Brent Strom is that father figure that goes out there and keeps it positive and keeps encouraging these guys to go out and do what they can do.
Alex Rios is a 2-time All-Star. Well, you got a pretty good battle going on right now. Ground ball left side, going to be tough. Correa with the throw to first and got him. What a play by Carlos Correa. And that will extend the play here this evening. And I mean, you got a defensive gem with that one in a big situation.
Put the spotlight on that kid right there. 20 years old, playing in an October atmosphere on the road. Picks it, decides to go the long route to first base, and makes the play to end that inning. Impressive stuff.
Not quite that light in KC, but here we go. Extra innings at the cough. How about Carlos Correa and that gem?
Yeah, I thought he was going to take the easy way out and go to second base and get that big runner, but man, just watch and enjoy. That's just sheer athleticism and talent right there.
Oh, man, what a play.
On a major stage, too. Yeah. You think Will Harris was pumped about it? I was pumped about it.
You could tell right away where that ground ball was headed. It was going to be really tough. I don't know. Did Carlos Correa think that was tough?
Man, that's going to be on a highlight reel.
10th inning, Preston Tucker leads off. A little half swing and a foul tip. 0-1 the count as Herrera comes on and brings some 100-mile-an-hour cheese. So what's your play of the game now?
I don't know. I'm gonna think about it. Nothing's really happened up until this point.
Man, oh man. Kelvin Herrera. I believe they're saying Calvin Herrera here.
Just happened.
A lot of people just sat down. I know that.
Man, one play just silenced 40,000 people, put them back in their seats, shaking their heads going, who is this guy? Well, you better remember who it is, because he's going to be around for a very long time doing those things right there.
These folks got reaccustomed to the playoffs last year. The World Series, in fact. And they've got the Kansas City Royals with the best record in the American League. But the Astros have beaten them 7 consecutive times. And I imagine a lot of Royals fans are asking, why do the Astros have the Royals number?
They just keep stepping up and playing so well against them.
Shot to left field, solid base hit. Second time Tucker's hit one on the money that way, the other one on the ground, and it found the third baseman Moustakas. But I tell you what, Preston Tucker can hit some ropes that way.
Does a good job of going with that fastball. Just does a good job. It seems, watch the side angle, really lays that barrel in the zone, and it stays through so nicely. He's not, I mean, that's just natural for him. He's not trying to think about doing that. It's just where it goes and when he sees it. See what Mike Stanton tweeted?
Missed it.
The best shortstop in the American League, Carlos Correa.
Line drive to second for an out, and they get the double play. I don't know. A.J. Hinch immediately comes out of the dugout, and he wants to have his people take a look at this one. A.J. is going to continue out toward home plate.
I don't know.
What'd you think?
I think it was a double play.
A.J. is turning around, heading back to the dugout, and they will review this. Change your mind?
No.
Nope. What are you told when you're on base anytime you're out there?
Freeze on the line drive. Kids at home, remember that.
Freeze on the line drive. You can't get doubled up. And it's tempting. You see that line shot coming off the bat. You saw Tucker take a step or two. So they'll take a look in New York. Well, this turned into a heck of a game.
Man, well, it just breezed along with how well the two starting pitchers pitched for the first 6 innings. After that, things started getting good. Now you've got the 2 best bullpens going at it, but you've also got 2 offenses that are actually putting together some pretty incredible at-bats.
And they're taking a very good look in New York.
They want to get it right. You think that everybody back in New York realizes what's going on too. They know this is a tight ball game between 2 first-place teams. Potential for every game to count from here on out. They want to make sure they get that call right. So the Astros, when I'm talking about putting together great at-bats, had 5 strikeouts last night. Through this game so far, only 6 strikeouts, and that's a relatively low number for 2 games for the Houston Astros.
You were talking about offenses in the American League, Blummer. The Astros are 4th best in runs per game. Kansas City 5th, right behind the Astros. So 2 very similar ball clubs, and we've talked about it. You mentioned it again. The bullpens have been back-to-back all season long. And it is a double play. So Carter lines into the double play. 2 outs, bases empty now for Colby Rasmus. Colby's 0 for 2. He's drawn a walk. Eric Hosmer.
That was too close to call. Huh.
That was a call stands ruling from New York. So apparently they just didn't have enough to change their minds. That was kind of the look of Eric Hosmer, like, what are you going to call that? Fly ball down the left field side. This one is deep, but not as deep as what Hosmer hit. And it's handled in left field by Orlando. And so the Astros squander the inning. Started with a base hit. They get nothing. Still tied at 1. And we're watching a good one. And it's got that playoff feel here this evening.
It really has turned into a fantastic game. The offenses, you know, you're going to look at the numbers and see 5 hits apiece, 1 run apiece. Wow, the offenses haven't been doing all that great, but pitching has been fantastic. There's been some big plays in these games. It's been a lot of fun to watch, but again, I always find it interesting to watch these games, especially in this situation. As young as the Astros team is, and as talented as they are, they're going up against a team that has the experience. So it begs that question we talked about before the game, off camera: talent or experience? What are you going to pick?
Talent's number 1.
Well,
but you pick up experience along the way.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want a bunch of 30-year-olds who are so-so players, but they have a lot of experience. Fly ball deep left field. This off the bat of Infante, back at the track as Tucker makes the catch. And that brought a lot of folks to their feet.
Jeez, know your ballpark.
A 1-1 game that has seen both runs scored on sac flies tonight.
But I'm with you. I would take the talent is going to overwhelm experience eventually, I would imagine. But I'm enjoying watching the Astros play this season because they are very talented, very young, but they play very well together.
So when you play in games like this with young talent, is this leading toward that experience you want to get?
Yeah, this atmosphere is going to rub off on these kids. They're going to remember it and remember how they reacted. Right now, I can tell you number 1 out there is enjoying this atmosphere playing shortstop.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on in the mind of Carlos Correa. Does he realize the magnitude of the play he just made?
I'll tell you what, you play in the big leagues, you're going to get noticed, yes. You really want to get noticed? You play big-time baseball in big-time moments. That's how you get noticed. And that young man, with that play he made last inning, is going to get noticed even more so than he already has.
Can swing the bat. Plays great D. Runs the bases well.
That's his run on the board. That's his sacrifice fly that drove in the only Astros run.
You know, sometimes I feel like you want to watch somebody who has experience or somebody that can make that play?
That's a great question. That's a great way of putting it. Wow. Just throw your boiler in front of it.
You know, you talk a lot of times about don't use the glove. That was a pretty good example.
He just gave up on it. Watch.
See it to the glove, and Hank Conger getting it done right there. No Olay at all.
364 more days till hockey season. Going Happy Gilmore on it right there.
Hot shot gets by Carter into right field. 1-out single for Orlando. And the Royals try to make something happen here in the 10th.
Good pitch. Good job by Paulo just putting this ball in play on a line. Kind of skipped off that lip. It looked like Chris Carter may have had a chance to make a play on that.
So Orlando aboard. It's only his 43rd game of the year, and he's stolen 2 bases. Royals just haven't done anything to exploit the possibilities of the running game tonight. 9-hitter Gerard Dyson at the plate. 0 for 3. Field. On comes Colby Rasmus. They try to get 2, and he's safe at first base. 2 umpires conferring with each other. First base umpire Chris Guccione took a look at Mark Carlson, the crew chief, before making that save call. How about Colby Rasmus and the job he's doing in right field?
We're going to give a lot of credit to that coaching staff too, realizing where to put these guys. They've been in the right place every time. But Colby Rasmus, the wherewithal to charge on that line drive, make the catch, and be in position to make that running throw to first base to make it close.
2 outs now. And now the trainer for the Royals comes out to the field to check on Paulo Orlando. Apparently everything is okay there. Leadoff man Alcides Escobar at the plate. Do the Royals now try to utilize the running game?
I'm still surprised that they have not even attempted.
Yep.
These are situations where you've got to challenge. You've got to challenge the defense. See if they can make that play.
Orlando does not go. Slice down the right field side. Yeah, with the leadoff man at the plate, 2 outs, tie ball game. If the Royals don't run, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
You don't make it. You start your next inning with your leadoff man at the plate.
That's exactly right.
And there he goes on a delay. The throw down bounces, goes into center field, but holding there at the bag is Orlando. It's a stolen base, and that's what we've been wondering about. And again, Hank Conger continues to struggle with that throwing game.
But somewhere in the scouting report, you've got to realize that Jason Castro is the catcher that throws guys out. Conger is doing the best he can. Going down to that knee right there made it tough for him to get out of the stance and make that throw. But you have got to test the defense. Because I love what you said. With 2 outs, take the chance. If you get thrown out at second base, big deal. Your leadoff man leads off the next inning.
So now the Royals have Orlando in scoring position. 2 outs here in the 10th. Escobar with a 1-1 count. And now 1-2.
Ooh, good pitch. I don't know, for me, watching Will Harris all year long, his 93 looks a little bit more
sneaky.
firm.
Yeah.
than 93. It's just the way you see guys take pitches, the way you see them take swings at it. Just looks like it sneaks up on them a little bit.
Nice job by Escobar reaching out and spoiling. Probably a pitch outside. By the way, the Angels are underway in Anaheim, hosting the Texas Rangers. They're in the bottom of the third inning. Angels lead it 3-1. Little looper right side dropping, and drops in front of Rasmus, and scoring from second is Orlando. And the Royals win it on this little flare base hit by Alcides Escobar. 2-1 KC in 10 innings.
Absolutely nothing to be ashamed of for the Houston Astros, and Will Harris made a great pitch, blew up Escobar. He just happened to drop it right in front of Colby Rasmus. Keep playing hard. Tomorrow's a new day. Relish the experience you just had right now playing in a great atmosphere. They've been beating up on the Royals. It just took a drop shot to finally beat the Houston Astros for the first time in this series between the Astros and Royals.
3 hours and 3 minutes, 2-1 the final in 10 as Kansas City survives the night.